Question one, what does this pandemic reveal about values in society?
I definitely think that this pandemic has shown us a little bit of positives and a few more negatives, personally, in my opinion. For positives, I think there has been a lot of people that have stepped up to the plate when, society needs them the most. And that's, of course, like the medical professionals, the people working in the grocery stores, food delivery, people who are cleaning the streets, cleaning the hospitals, all those types of people. And also the people who have kind of stepped up in terms of there's been a lot of rises in like domestic violence and people's mental health. And there have been organizations and just individuals who have really made an effort to kind of help manage those problems with the pandemic that we've been in. So it's been really helpful in that regard. A bit more negatively, I think this pandemic has really shown how many people are willing to put their own freedoms and kind of livelihood above everybody else's. Like when you think of just how many people are going out and risking their lives to help those who are infected, or even those who just flat out are infected, like it's ridiculous how some people would kind of disvalue that and then want to complain about not being able to get a haircut or going to the gym. So that part really kind of mind boggles me. And I've been a bit upset with our government. Some of our leaders have, in my opinion, not done the best. I think looking at a lot of other countries, we've seen some of the stricter protocols and laws that they've taken to ensure the safety. And I think that we need that in a time because there's a lot of states whose numbers are really, really high, like New York, California, and then we see a lot of the other ones not so high. And then we see numbers starting to decrease and then places starting to open up and then it skyrockets once again. So it's just frustrating for a lot of people who are following the rules and trying to help put an end to this and help people get back to their families and keep those families nice and big than, complaining. So
100%. Thank you. Question number two, what has the pandemic revealed to your own values?
I think that this pandemic, of course, it's been difficult on everybody. I think that it's important that we, and me personally, my family have been social distancing, staying inside, being really cautious. But something that it's kind of also shown is kind of what you can place values on or even find value in. So we've all been given this extra time, and I think a lot of us have always complained like we don't have enough time to do these things, and now we kind of don't have those excuses anymore. So I mean, you can spend more time with your family, with your friends, kind of focus more on yourself. So I think that we can try to find a way like through this pandemic, and I definitely have like try to work on, yourself, relationships, your kind of work ethic and the things you do, and just try to use this like extra time that we probably aren't ever going to get again, depending on how long people don't social distance. So yeah, I think it's really important that we use this time, this really weird, tragic time that we're going through, and try to make, something good come out of it.
How have you personally been like using this time to better yourself since you talked about it?
Okay, so I definitely think that I'm the type of person who likes to think a bit too big, not in terms of like my goals are too big, because I don't think anybody's goals are too big, but I tend to think like, okay, like 10 years into the future, I need to be here. So then I'm always thinking like, to get to this place that I want to be in 10 years, I need to do this, this, and this. So I tend to like forget that I'm living in the present and like taking advantage of those things. So through the quarantine, I've been like trying to not put so much stress on like getting to this place, because now I have all this extra time where I'm usually like so back to back on a schedule. Whereas like now I'm like, okay, well, like I can take this extra like 1 hour to go walk my dog or play with my little sister, or like, talk to my grandma on the phone for a little bit longer instead of just being so go, 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 because you don't realize
Yeah.
like how much time is passing you by.
Great. And then the last question is just 50 years from now, what would you want people to remember about this pandemic, these times, etc.?
Okay, so I definitely think, and I hope that I remember this too, is I think when we think of like how our society functions and who has the power, we tend to think of like, the few percentages at the top who have all this money, all this power, government leaders, and those are the people who are kind of keeping America afloat. And this pandemic has really shown like it's average people who have big hearts, who are compassionate, and those are the people who are kind of keeping everybody afloat in a way. And like
Yeah.
they're always there. Like there's people who are really taking responsibilities that they don't even need to be taking, like just people who are bringing food to the nurses. Like that just says so much about people, and people who are going and visiting people who are having a hard time, calling people, blah blah blah. Also want people to think of how they felt in this time. Like we don't have, like if we have found this like new sense of like this is a routine that works for me, like I need to place a bit more emphasis on my mental health, and mental health not meaning anybody just with a pre-existing like mental health condition,
Yeah.
but just like this burnout that a lot of like college students feel, which is not normal, but a lot of us feel it. Like really focus on like what did you do to help yourself in this time, and then take it and use it so we don't go back to exactly where we were, like in terms of jobs, stress, even the environment. Like the environment thriving, probably only good thing coming out of this. So I would really hope that like it can show people like small things can make the biggest difference, and we shouldn't forget about that once this is all over.